Symphony University, what's going on? Yours truly, DJ Tay James. I just want to thank everybody for coming out and spending this time with us. Yeah, I hope somebody or all of you guys can take something from this conversation. I'm just happy to provide knowledge and answer questions or give any type of insight I can. Who is DJ Tay James? Okay, cool. Um, all right, so I started DJing. It's not 16. I actually started DJing at like 13, 14. I was professional by 16. Um, I was able to support myself throughout college and DJing, just, college parties, a bunch of brand situations. And then uh, by the time 2009 came around, after I graduated, 2 months later, I was able to meet Justin and start working with him and going on tour with him. And I've done pretty much every show with him since he started until now. Before the pandemic happened, I was offered the job as A&R, and I was able to work on the Justice album, which got nominated. Actually, I worked on pretty much every album, but as far as me getting credit as being an A&R was for Justice. And I've been able to work with everyone from Post Malone, Tyga, Kid, you name it. You know, what I mean, I've had my hands on everything, and I've also been able to work in the underground hip hop scene with like Griselda, West Side Gun, Stove God, and the likes of those artists. As far as what I do outside of music, is I'm heavily in fashion. I work hard. I work closely with a brand called Purple Brand. They're probably one of the top jeans seller for men in the world, actually. And I also work with Polite Worldwide, which is a sustainable clothing company out of California. I've done anything. I've done everything from brand deals with Apple, Nike, Louis Vuitton, Sprite, you name it. And most recently, I just been hired to be musical director for the W Hollywood, curating all the music for the hotel. This is the overview of what we're talking about today. It's going to be networking, thinking outside the box, avoiding limitations, balance, relationship, and brand consistency. All right, cool. First up, networking. Um, for me, college was huge for networking for me. A lot of people may think that college is not necessarily needed anymore in this day and age, but I think for me, it wasn't so much of what I was being taught in college that worked out for me. It was more so. Actually, I'll take that back. Like when I first got into my business, I majored in business management. Looking back, I wish I would have done more in like music theory or something within music a little bit more because that would have helped me with where I'm at now. But I did business management and I made myself the business when I was in college. So everything I was learning in my business classes, I applied to what I was doing as in the business of DJ Tay James. And the network of people I've met in college was way more beneficial for me. And what I mean by that is the relationship I've met in college, a guy that I was working with or DJing with, he left school early, went to Atlanta, and became cool with Usher's assistant. And then Usher's assistant reached out to him to be like, "Hey, do you have a DJ or someone that is from a club or college background that can come in and work with this new artist named Justin Bieber?" And that's how that worked. It was just basically based off a relationship I had already predetermined. So if I didn't make that connection or if I didn't have this connection with this individual, I would have never got the opportunity. My bad. Sorry, guys. All right, so networking, foundation for success. This opens doors to new opportunities, collabs, and gigs. I feel like your network is your net worth. So the more people, the more things you're connected to, the more that you can provide for somebody else, um, makes you more beneficial. So one of a piece of advice I've gotten from another music exec friend of mine, somebody I look up to, he always said, like, if you're not the artist making the music or producing the music, or then how are you going to be valuable to that artist? And to be valuable is what you bring to the table, or what connections do you have, or what, like, how can you cut out a middleman, or how can you piece dots together? So in our world and in my crew and everybody that I work with, everyone considers me the glue. I'm the guy that helps bring people together. I'm the guy that's like the middle common denominator in a lot of things, especially in the world of Bieber. So, like, it's 6 degrees of separation. So I've always placed value in who I know and how I can bring something to the table to help change the situation. Next is thinking outside the box. I think this is very, very important. And the reason why I say that is as a DJ, I always looked at my mixes and wanted to be different than everybody else's. So I was the DJ blending records that didn't really make sense, but everyone liked it. Like I would take like back in the day, I would take like a Maroon 5 song and blend it with a new hip hop record. And at the time when I was DJing, this was something that a lot of DJs weren't doing. So I've always had that mindset of thinking outside the box. I've always had the mindset of looking at the bigger picture. I've always a big picture person. I never come into a situation and look at how this can serve me for the next month or year or two. I want to come into a situation and be like, oh, I see what this looks like 10 years from now. And that's kind of a mindset you have to have in our industry because everyone's thinking already in the box. Everyone already has an idea of what they want to do, or you know what I mean, or how they want to go about it, or they see somebody else do something, so they've seen it work for somebody else. So hey, let me follow that. And it's just like, nah, like being a creator or being in entertainment, it's always good not to really be a follower, but someone to lead, if that makes sense. Next, we have avoiding limitations, embracing multiple income streams. And this is very, very important. As a DJ, I always just thought that, DJing would just be my main source of income. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that, hey, like, yes, I'll be a DJ at heart for the rest of my life, but it's not going to be the main thing bringing money on the table for me. And one big example that everyone went through was the pandemic. And when the pandemic happened, my whole job as being a DJ kind of just shut down. So what do I do to help bring money to the table? Or what can I do, or what can I reach out or be a part of so I can also start, you know, making more money for myself or being in part of other situations that all connect with entertainment. And within entertainment, there's music and fashion, which they go hand in hand, sports as well. So I just wanted to start putting myself in other situations, whereas I can use my network, I can use all the people all the contacts I've made while being in the music business and serve another business or serve another world, which was fashion. And by, being the good, genuine person that I am, or just having, the charm that I have and just being able to reach out to different people and connect with different people on so many different levels, I was able to get in with Purple at an early level. So when the pandemic happened, I picked up the job as being in charge of events and marketing for Purple. And I was able to use all the context and all the knowledge I gained with being in the music business and serve the fashion world. Right before the pandemic, hey, Tay, do you want to be my A&R? Justin called me one day out of the blue. Like it was not something I was going for. It wasn't something I was fighting for, but being an A&R has always been my dream. And I want to say throughout his first album, I've always been in the studio with him helping, but was never politicking for the job. I've always wanted the job, but it was one of those things whereas when the right time came, I'll be ready for the job. So every project that he's had since Believe, I've had my hands on. So for Believe, I was scratching on the song right there with Drake. I helped him picked a couple beats that ended up being songs on the album. When Purpose came around, I was heavily more involved. I was in the studio with him. I helped put together Life Is Worth Living for him on that album. I helped put together Trust. I helped put together No Sense. Like 3 or 4 records on the album I helped put together. And then I was just learning the process of just being an A&R, working with him, the artist, and just seeing what he gravitates to as an artist, what he likes. Like with Justin, he likes melodies. He's really melodic. So anything that has melodies, I was able to find new producers or find new songwriters for him to work with that might give him a different sound that he hasn't been tapped in on. What's it called again? My bad, I'm going off a little bit. I'm just talking. Fire safety net. Okay, yeah. So uh, that's been the most important thing is just learning somebody that you're working with and trying to figure out how you can help make their situation or their business work better for them. And multiple streams of income just to tie it back around. So you just don't put yourself in a box. It goes back to thinking outside the box. So if I'm just a DJ, I'm just a DJ. But it's just like I feel like a DJ is more than just playing music. A DJ is a life curator. You know what I mean? We do more than just playing songs. You know what I mean? We're low key music psychologists, if that makes sense. So we can help. We know what can help change someone's mindset. So and that can be applied for more than just playing a vinyl or setting up a playlist. Balancing roles and responsibilities. Okay, let me see. All right, yeah. So I feel like it's very important, especially as a creator or entertainer, to have a team. Like, yes, I know a lot of people who do everything by themselves, and a lot of things can get slipped, can slip through the cracks, essentially. So I feel like you need your own manager, you need a financial advisor, you need a business manager, if that makes sense, or PR, public relations, to help tell your story for you. And uh, I like, for example, I like to have everyone that's in my team, they're all separate. Like, so my agent, manager are are not in cahoots with my lawyer, who is not in cahoots with the person who plans my money. Everyone is separate, but we're all together for the same goal, which is telling my story and making sure that I'm supported and have all the right necessary resources for me to do my job. The importance of positive relationships in business. Um, this is very, very important because people want to work with who they have a good relationship with. A lot of times it's 50% your talent and the other 50% is your personality. Like a lot of times as a DJ or even as me working as A&R, I like to build friendships with people first before I do business with them. It's the same thing with the purple situation. Like I was friends with the owners first, and there was no contract, there was no anything discussed. As friends, you want to watch out for your friends and vice versa. So when you start doing business together, it's not like you're doing business with an employer or employee, you're doing business with one of your good friends. And that's kind of like what I like to conduct with all my relationships within music. Certain songwriters or producers in the A&R space, I'm friends with these people. We hang out outside of music and we have a rapport with each other. So when it comes down to working with each other, it's not a problem, it's no issue because you know the person you're dealing with. And I rather deal with friends of mine than deal with people I don't really can stand or trust. You know what I mean? It's a dicey, volatile situation sometimes in the music business. So you want to deal with your resources that you've already vetted, and sometimes you just want to deal with someone who's just a regular person. Like, and that's very important. Instead of looking at people or situations as a dollar sign, look how you can build with somebody, find a common denominator, and then work on that. Because sometimes you don't want to do business with everybody, but if you can do business with your friends, I feel like that's very beneficial. And especially as a DJ, people want to hire somebody they can actually hang out with, have a good time with, and they can gauge that better than hiring somebody that they met on Instagram and you don't know the person, you don't know how to deal with the person when you actually come in contact with them. Brand consistency. Um, Building a cohesive image is very, very important. One thing, uh, what's it called? One thing I've been able to do with myself is kind of to stay true to my core brand. And I've always been, what's it called again? What's the word I'm looking for? I've always been able to create like a brand identity for what I'm doing. So, and this creates a loyal fan base that connects with you, your with your message and your vibe. It increases appeal to partners and sponsors. When I work with Louis Vuitton for Fashion Week, I built a connection with them so strong that it's like it works hand in hand. So I'm a quote unquote celebrity DJ for them, and I can also DJ any type of music or brand for people. So it's like you could put me in a room if you need me to play house music. I can play house music. I can play Afro beats all day if you need me to do that. I can plug and play for any situation or brand. And a lot of times, big brands when they come in, they want a DJ that can just do everything, so you can appeal to all crowds. And I feel like this is very, very, very important just to be consistent with everything that you do as a creative. And the more consistency that you have, the more easier it is for you to be creative. You know what I mean? Like your fan base is gonna what's it called again? Your fan base is gonna gather around you more or support you more if they know what they're gonna get from you, instead of trying to surprise your people with something brand new. You want to at least know what they're getting before they get it. So I think that's just important, brand consistency for everything. Okay, cool. Questions?
Great job. How y'all
Sorry,
feeling, chat?
sorry if I was a little long-winded, guys. My bad. I had a call and it kind of messed up my whole screen over here.
No, you're good. You bodied it. You bodied it. You did such a good job. Um, so many things you covered, from the music to the brand consistency to the networking. I think those who've been in Symphony University this whole year and some change, knows that networking is like something that comes across every single session that we've had. So, um, love to hear it. Yes, we will share this recording afterwards. It'll be on YouTube in
Oh,
less
also,
than 4 hours. Oh, what's up?
my bad. No, he what's it called again? I will not know how to pronounce his name, but he said, "Are you looking to work with other artists?" I listen to everybody. I'm not one of those A&Rs or executives that who feel like he's too big to listen to someone up and coming. I listen to everything. I give my email to every up and coming producer or songwriter, and I listen to everything. I don't work with a big label. I don't work for anybody else. I don't have, you know what I mean? I work directly for myself. So if you guys want to send me anything, I make sure I can put my email in this chat actually. You guys can send me whatever.
There goes your email. RIP the DMs. Well, tell us what you're listening to right now. I know for me, there's been a lot of good music that dropped in the last month or two, but would love to know what you're listening to right now.
I really like this Tyler album. I've been banging this Tyler Creator album for the longest right now. But I listen to a little bit of everything. So, and I do that because I want to have a good hand on both pop world to the underground hip hop world and everything in between. You know what I mean? So, because also being a DJ, I have to play all this music. So I like being connected to it all.
I love that. Someone asked about
Dochi, by the way.
yeah, someone did ask you specifically about Dochi.
Do you have suggestions on how you can develop a strong visual identity that works with your music? What's it called again? Hmm. I think whatever visual identity you want to go with, make sure it's consistent and the same, and it's you. Like I feel like we're in a day and age where people want you to be you and not like a fake persona of you or what people want you to be. If you're real is always gonna win. Real music always wins. That's why I'm saying, like, if like do it yourself, DIY is killing it right now. Anything you do that can show your personality or your identity the best way, I feel like it's important. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to get eyes on you. You can, as long as it's real and consistent, I feel like it will work.
That's super real.
Where was the email dropped? Oh, I put it right here. Sorry. What else happened? Zoom. Okay. How can we build a UK and US collaboration from recent London dope session? Oh, we can do that whenever you guys want to. Riz, I got you. What's the best way to approach sponsors to come on board and support up and coming artists at a live performance show to support their growth? Best way to approach sponsors. I mean, a lot of times it might just start with product, and sponsors are going to want to invest in something that they can get some type of return on. So like one with a product, like if you're really using it, for example, me, like I'm talking to Ray-Bans right now, and since I wear glasses, it's like, okay, cool. I need to be connected to a glasses company or someone that makes glasses. So there's a trade-off. It makes sense. So it's, as long as you find brands that represent the brand or the brand that you are putting out there, I feel like you just try to find some type of synergy between that, and that's how you make the connection.
Oh, I see what happened with the email, y'all.
Okay.
Uh,
Do
I'll
it
put
again.
it in the chat. Hold on. Ooh, ignore that.
You gonna send it?
Yeah, my copy and paste isn't working, but it's because it sent it to the host and the panelists. There we go.
Oh my
There's his
goodness.
email, RIP your inbox, but hopefully great vibes in there.
No, it's all good. I listen to everything. And if
There's
it's
his
dope, I
email,
will.
yo.
If it's dope, I'll reach out. If it's bad, I'll tell you it's not what I'm looking for. Like it's okay.
Real.
You got to be honest with people.
That's super real. Any other questions that y'all have today?
Why do you think music companies are no longer investing in artist development? That's actually the huge thing. I feel like music companies should invest in artist development. What's going on right now? It's a big shift in music. Anybody in the states, you'll start seeing a big difference. They fired a bunch of people who've been working at labels for 30, 40 years recently. And they're about to make it two sides. It's going to be a universal East and a universal West. And a lot of these subsidiary record companies are going to shut down soon. And because they're realizing that they can just invest a bunch of money on in social media and ads and TikTok that they don't necessarily need people who've been working radio promotions, for example. So I think artist development is what's missing. And I feel like it's even more important to be independent right now. Like you should be independent to the point where you put yourself on, get hot, and then you can dictate how much money you want an investor like a label to come in and pay you. But if you're not, you're going to make yourself hot on your own, then what do you need a label for? A label is just going to put you in debt. So it's no sense of even working or partnering with a label unless you have something that you guys can both win together on.
That's a fact. Someone said, how do you suggest finding and building a team with little budget?
Well, that's what's it called again? There's a book that I read called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. It's a very, very, very dope book, and it's from a music attorney, and he just breaks down everything that was needed for an artist. And like, for example, a manager, like, yeah, you might not be able to get the best manager, but if you can find a friend, a family member, someone who believes in your career, that would be better than a manager who's the top in his game, because that manager is not going to put so much attention on a new artist. You want someone who's going to fight for you as much as he will fight for anybody else. As far as you, sometimes you might not be able to get everything at once. For me, like when I first started being on tour, I didn't know I necessarily needed a manager. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know I necessarily needed a business lawyer or anything like that. I had my mom saving money for me. I had my homeboy who was a fake trying to be, a guy trying to go to law school, trying to look at contracts for me. And then like you live and you learn. Like there's been times I've been screwed over. There's been times where things didn't go my way, and it's because I wasn't protecting myself. And sometimes you might not be able to get all of the team at once, but you start off with a manager, and then you go into the next thing, which might be PR. So you don't have to get everything at once. You can just start off and make it layer by layer. Like I'm really cool with, like, if there's a mountain on my back and I'm trying to go through it, instead of just trying to beat everything at one time or solve everything at one time. You take it by layers. So hey, if I need a manager, let me focus on the manager first. If I need this, let me focus on that second.
That's super real. Don't try to do everything at once. Just let things take time. Someone says or asks about finding sound. They're saying that people that listen to them say that they sound like Burna Boy, but he feels like he sounds like himself. So what kind of suggestion would you give someone who's trying to find their sound and their unique sound?
Well, I mean, I feel like I feel like when people say that, it's because they're just so used to listening to Burna Boy. You know what I mean? Like I was working with an artist where people be like, "Oh, he sounds like Wale," and they were both from DC, for example. And it's just like I didn't hear it, but other people would hear it. And I feel like with finding your sound, that means, like, all right, with being an artist or just being in any type of entertainment world, this is like playing basketball. So like, yeah, you might have a jump shot or a crossover that might look like this person, but you're better, or not even better. You could be different than this person. So it's like, how are you going to change your writing technique? How are you going to change your identity to create your own identity? And that's just, if you're an artist, that's just going and recording as much and finding your sound. Like finding your sound is finding your lane. And if you find your own lane, no one else is going to be able to take that from you. Like Burner Boy, when he first came out, it wasn't like, oh, this is Burner Boy. There's probably 1,000 of artists that probably said that he sounded like somebody else from Nigeria. You know what I mean? When he was coming up, and by him just staying consistent to his own identity and then making more music, the more reps you put in, the easier way for you to find your own style. Me as a DJ, I would listen to a bunch of different DJs coming up, and then I created my own style. Like I took what I liked from different things and then created my own little style.
That's super real. And on the topic of that, someone did ask, how would you go about trying to become a writer? I know writing is just like one of the hardest things in the music industry monetarily. However, it is obviously one of the most important arts in the
Yeah,
music.
some writers get paid more than artists.
Talk about that.
I'm saying there's a lot of artists like for example, if you're writing a record for a Beyonce or for a Justin, just based off of their notoriety alone, the artist might not even write a lyric, and the artist is going to take more percentage of the songwriter, unless you're dealing with a songwriter who is just as popular as the artist. So if you're dealing with like a Max Martin who wrote Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time" to some of these new Weekend records, like yeah, when you do a song with him, the percent he might get more percentage than an artist because is he is who he is in that world. You know what I mean? And he has all the accolades behind him. Or like the Dream. The Dream wrote almost so many hits for so many different people, or like, like or Neo. But certain songwriters get more money than the artist. The artist is just performing the record. Unless they collab together and they write the song together, then it's different. Then the percentages are a little bit more even. So right now, it's like say you're a songwriter and you're trying to figure out if I was trying to be a aspiring songwriter, I will use my own experience to help write songs, and then I'll also use AI. AI is allowing songwriters to write any song, and you can put it into the AI program or and have whoever artist sing it. You know what I mean? That's how crazy technology is, and I'm a type of person to use technology, not be scared of it or try to push it away, but use it as a tool to help make my own craft better.
That's interesting from your point of view. Have you seen writers use ChatGPT and these other AI systems while you're in the studio?
Not, I'm talking about recently. I have, yes,
Oh, wow.
is they'll
And
write a song because a lot of times songwriters they might sing a song in a different tone than the artist they're trying to pitch the song to. But with AI, you can make a song, you can write a song, dope ass lyrics, and have the have it being sung in like say you're writing a song for Usher, you can have AI sing this song like Usher would. You know what I mean? So when he hears the record, it sounds like him already singing it, and he might like it. You see what I'm saying? Like the artist
that's
has,
weird.
the artist has to be able to hear themselves sing the record.
Yeah, the reference tracks have now become even more
Yeah.
accurate. Wow, that's really dope.
And a
Um,
lot of times, the songwriter is a better singer than the artist. A lot of times, you'd be surprised.
Facts, facts. On the business side again, someone was wondering like what were some of your biggest PR campaigns to date?
My on my recently, what did I do recently? Vanity Fair probably was the last campaign, or not campaign, but the last big thing I've done. I did the Vanity Fair Oscar after party. As far as I've been in everything from Billboard to Forbes. I've done Forbes a couple times. Says Complex, you name it. I've been in pretty much every publication. I was Variety Hitmakers 2 years in a row. With and not being signed to no label, like I don't have a label backing. I don't work for a Universal or anybody like that. I do all this myself. So for me to be Variety Hitmakers 2 years in a row with not being connected to any label is pretty huge. Like as an independent A&R.
Okay, Starboy, I hear you, see you. And someone was asking about the book that you were talking about. Yes, that book is by Donald Passman. I
Yeah.
feel like every year he creates a new version of it, so definitely go read that book. Um, Someone did ask, I don't see it anymore, but oh, there it is. Do you believe in the idea of not looking for managers, but letting them find you?
But I'm saying I've had different managers. Like I've had different managers in my career to where like right now I feel like I have the best team right now. But when I first started, my first manager was shitty. But you have to go through shitty managers to get to the next one. You have to go through bullshit to learn from bullshit, if that makes sense.
That
Like,
makes sense.
yeah, things are just not going to be perfect initially. Like, your favorite artist went through bullshit management at one point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like you got to go through things to figure out what works for you. That's all.
To that point, what makes a good manager?
What's it called again? I'm referencing the book that we were talking about, but they break it down to like, you know, it's really someone that just believes in you and your talent. That's all. And they have to low key believe in you more than you believe in yourself for them to work as hard for you. That's why it's like it's different stages of managers. You got the manager who has no experience at all, but he's going to go so hard for you, but that's only going to take you to a certain level. And then after that, the next level after that is a manager who's been in the game forever, you know what I mean? Or someone who has a couple different artists that he's working with and he has more experience in the role. And then the level after that is like one of those big time managers who have their own management company, i.e., like a SB or i.e., like a range music. So like these people are all managers and they've been doing this for 10 plus years and they have 100 different artists. In those type of situations, you might not get the attention that you want. Usually more established artists go with those type of managers. You know what I mean? Because they're already established and they're looking for the Rolodex that this manager might be able to provide.
The Rolodex, the Rolodex, the Rolodex. Key, key,
Go
key.
back to network and net worth. You know what I mean? So
Fire. Someone asked, what strategies have been crucial for turning your passion into a long-term profitable career? And what's one piece of advice you wish you had received when you were first starting out?
um like I'll say it again, like my network of friends is very, very important. I've been friends with there's certain there's certain artists, there's certain producers, there's certain execs, there's certain people in fashion I've been connected to for 15 plus years. And I met them on their come up. So now when 15 years later, everyone's so successful and we're all friends and we're friends because we've been together since 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like we've connected that long, we have rapport for that long. And that's part of the business is seeing somebody on the come up, understanding where they are, understanding how you guys can connect, find a common ground and build upon that and help each other out as a stepping stone. um I wish financial literacy, I wish I knew more about finance shit. Like I wasn't like my senior year in college, I wasn't caring about shit, I was just caring about being a DJ. You know what I mean? That's all I cared about. I was trying to just make as much money as I possibly can. But I wish I had someone saving my money for me. I wish I had someone telling me like, hey, you need to put this away for a rainy day. And that's all. That's more so the main thing.
That's real. I think someone's asking about sync. Like, what steps would you recommend for artists or producers looking to get their music licensed for TV, film, commercials? And how can independent artists position themselves to stand out in the sync world?
What's it called? Syncing is a lot of artists are making money off of sync. I know there's a bunch of different independent companies like a Pulse or or publishing companies who their sole job is to just do sync. So it's just finding the right independent company or even major company that want to work with you or and then start pitching your songs. There's companies I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong name off the top of my head, but these are things are all Googleable. But it's just getting connected to them and pitching the songs because a lot of times these sync companies are trying to work with independent artists. You know what I mean? I know independent artists who are making money off of sync than regular artists are making money off their own music. And you know what I mean? Because it's so crazy. If you have a song playing on a TV show or a movie or a commercial, you get paid just like how Beyonce gets paid for her music. It's the same. You know what I mean? Like it's the same difference. So I feel like, man, I just know off top sync companies are looking to work with independent artists because they can do more with that music, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Someone said, how can you get into legitimate playlists? There's so many fake ones out there. Which one you will recommend? Of course, I'm here to advocate for Symphony and our third-party playlist and the vetting process there. But do you have any recommendations for maybe artists looking to get on those big Spotify playlists or Apple Music playlists?
all these independent playlists. I'm not actually mad at independent playlists either. I know guys that have independent playlists that have millions of followers, and I know they get paid from record labels for their artists to be on those playlists. So I think you should use it all. Honestly, like all playlists are great because it's gonna put eyes on your music regardless. I feel like there's each company, each streaming platform from YouTube to Spotify has somebody that does independent playlisting for them, or is the guy that's picking the playlist, and it's just finding out that contact. And a lot of times you can get that contact from your PR agent or from someone that works over there. It's not like, a lot of times some of these things are not just given to you, but it's like it's all things that is researchable, and you can find all these contacts. And for me, I had to do the same thing for myself. Like when I was managing songwriters, I had to go reach out to a bunch of different playlists to be like, hey, this song is coming out, you got to give them a heads up, and then they'll listen to the record, and then they might be able to put it on a playlist for you instead of waiting for an algorithm to pick up your song.
Do you listen to playlists as a DJ, or are you the one making playlists for other people?
um Oh man, I don't really listen to playlists. Tell you the truth, I look at playlists to see what other people are putting on the playlist or what the algorithm is gravitating to. But I make my own playlist.
Y'all hear that, artists? He don't really listen to the playlists like that, but he's definitely helping shape the culture. So it's just another challenge for y'all to stand out and definitely tap in with Tay after this. Um, Someone said or asked, who are your top artists right now? Who is killing the game? I know you mentioned Tyler, but is there anyone else that you're like, wow, this is crazy? On the spot, I know.
I know. I just listen to a bunch of different stuff. Hold on, real quick. Let me go look at my Spotify
That's real.
and see who I've been listening to recently. Oh Lord, I mean, it's all right. One of my favorite rappers who I've been listening to for a long time, but now I'm actually working with him, is a rapper named Stove God Cooks. He's from Syracuse. He's signed to, or he's connected to Griselda, so he's one of West Side Gun's artists. I've been listening to him for the last couple of years, and he doesn't have a lot of. He has one project out, quote unquote, on Spotify, and he has a bunch of songs out, but he has a cult following. Every time he goes on tour, it's sold out, and he's making a good name for himself. And just being able to connect with him and help him on his project is something that it's a full circle moment for me. With West Side Gun, I don't necessarily need to help him with his music, but I mean, I've connected him with Purple, and we've done collabs on with in fashion world together. So I just been able to. I like working with independent artists. I like working with another guy, a kid from Toronto. His name is Dylan Sinclair, fire artist from Toronto, dope R&B artist. I've been watching his career from the beginning, and one of my good friends is his manager, and that's how this thing works. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? You might meet somebody, they might have an artist, you start listening to their music, and then it just goes like that.
Makes sense. I've definitely heard of Dylan. Definitely tap in. We also have some love from Toronto here. Someone said, great session, Tay. Love from Toronto. I work with a singer here named Talk, and Justin's journey was such an inspiration to us. So shout out to
Yeah.
Canada.
Always shout out to Toronto. My girlfriend's from Toronto, so I'm always out there.
Shout out to her.
She's
Um,
upstairs.
hey, um, is there anything that you would love to leave with our audience as we begin to wrap?
Honestly, my shit, what can I say that I haven't said already? Because I feel like I was rambling. Always just stay true to yourself as artists. Um, being in this world, it's the road less travel, and nothing's going to be easy. And if it is easy, and if you do skip steps in this game, you're going to always have to go back and repeat those steps that you've missed. So stay the course, stay true to yourself, like I said earlier, and just be honest and just be vulnerable.
I love that. And with that, y'all, another legendary episode of Symphony University has concluded. Thank you from everybody from London, Toronto, Boston, New York, all over the globe for tuning in. Shout out to Tay James. This was amazing. The recording will be online within the next 24 hours, and you guys can watch it back over and over and over again. And he did drop his email. Do you want to just drop it one more time for the folks who want to send their music? RIP your inbox, even though he's about to have a great time.
No, it's all good. It's my pleasure.
I love that. I love that. I'm about to put it in for y'all. All right, there's the email, y'all. Screenshot it, write it down, pen and paper, typewrite it, whatever you're doing in 2024. Tay, thanks again, and everybody have a good rest of your day.
Thank you guys. I'll tap in soon.
All right, y'all. Peace, peace.